Okay guys, let's go over our project presentation expectations. As you know, this is due the 20th, which is next Wednesday, not this upcoming Wednesday, but next Wednesday. You need to, well, first and foremost, these are the standards that we're trying to hit. I think I shared, yes. Okay, these are the standards that we're trying to hit. This is our justification. This is the reason what we're telling the state, like, hey, my students did these things that are from the Utah standard. So this is why it counts towards their grade. Is for your presentation, you're integrating multiple sources of information. So this is like your personal experience with your book, with comments from your dad, so on and so forth. Integrating multiple sources of information in a diverse media format. Online learning is a diverse media format, so we've got that checked. Presenting information's findings and supporting evidence clearly and concisely. So it's basically presenting your project in a way that's clear, concise, and logical, in a way that I can follow and understand what's going on. And you're going to do that by following the format that I'm going to give you in just a second. Making strategic use of digital media. So choosing when to put pictures in and when to put in audio and when to put in videos and interactive elements, etc. To enhance, to make your presentation better. And then writing informational text. So instead of doing an informational essay or an explanatory essay, we're doing the project presentation. So you do need to have a good deal of writing in your presentation. You're going to write in a way that explains and conveys what's going on. What happened here, what happened at the stage in your project. And so just a couple of sentences per slide or in your video works. So let me give you guys an example here really quick. And so this is a student turned this in, and this was an A paper, so an A presentation. So they have sewing is harder than it seems. There's a little play on word there. And then, learning how to sew, listed the skills that she learned, before pictures, after pictures, and what really scored her these big points is this. You see this little button here? If I click on this, you'll hear her talk.
Hello, this is phases of learning how to sew, and then in my...
So on every single slide, she has a little audio clip. Pretty much every single slide explaining what's going on here before and after. This is just like if she were standing up in class and presenting to the whole class. That was perfect, beautiful, well done. I don't care that she doesn't have full sentences here because she has this audio. If you do not have full sentences, if you do not have written portions on your slides, you need to have audio over it, or a video of you explaining, or something to that nature, okay? So she has lots of visuals that keep it interesting with the audio. She goes through her learning process of sewing over several pieces, several different projects, constantly listing all her new skills. And then at the end outlines how many hours of work that she did, and all this other cute fun stuff. So this was really well presented. It's not just one slide, it's not just two slides, it's a whole presentation. So this would get full points. Here's my example that I did I think you guys remember that I told you that I was writing a poem book. Well, here it is. So Whispers Within a Storm is the title of the book. That should be capital W. The Whispers Within a Storm is the title of my book. And then the origin of the idea is my mom had a book that she used to read to us. So this is what I need you guys to do. I'm getting ahead of myself. So for your project presentation, you should have 5 elements: origin, project description, justification, your plan and process, and your final project. So origin, where you got the idea, project description. So here in mine, I have project description, collect poems and short stories to read to my boys, and here's my pictures of my boys. Get it printed and put it in a binder. Okay, cool. That's my project. And then your reasoning, which is your justification. Your reasoning is, why should I give you an English grade for doing this? Why do you get English points for doing this? If your project was, I'm going to learn to shoot my bow and arrow, I have like 6 or 7 guys doing that, and then I have like a couple guys doing axe throwing, and a couple of guys doing shooting, hunting, things like that. So if your project is I'm going to throw my axe, or I'm going to fletch arrows, or I'm going to shoot my bow and arrow, why are you getting English credit for that? Give me a justification. So I'm going to help you out with that here. So here, for my justification, well, reading poems is really Englishy. That's kind of an easy one. But here's one for those of you who don't have a very innately Englishy project. The process of organizing a project is Englishy because I had to write a proposal and a pacing guide, which helps me with time management. This skill could be useful in all my schoolwork. Or the project was Englishy because I had to read a book to teach me how to do the thing I did. The book was blah, 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 and I read this much. This will help me in future English classes because I'm more exposed to the hunting world or the outdoors world, or because doing something every day like working out or exercising every single day gave me mental discipline, and now I can take that into my schoolwork. Give me a reason as to why you get English credit for this, and then I can take that reason and show my bosses, okay? So your reasoning, your plan, so the process, like this is what I did. These are the goals that I set on my pacing guide. Or the process during this project, I read these books, which was an hour a day, and I collected this many poems. What was the process of you going through it? And then the project itself is the presentation of the project itself. So here is my presentation of the project itself. I have several of the poems that I collected, the names of them some of my favorites, and then here's a couple of the poems with somebody reading. That's to include that multimedia and keep it interesting. And then the product itself, here's a picture of my book, and then here's a link to the Google Doc. You can click on that, and that will take you to my document that has all my poems. So this is my expectations for your presentation. Oh, and then what I learned. I learned at the end that I don't love these certain authors that I thought I did, that I hate Google Docs for layout and design. It just sucks. That printing a book is super cheap. Okay, so those are the things that I learned from doing my project. What did you learn from your project? So that kind of segues us into our reflection a little bit. After you're done with presenting your project, so after you're done with that slideshow, you've uploaded that on this fun little, you've gone ahead and uploaded your slideshow or your video. Maybe you created a video instead of you talking about it, or maybe you want to write an essay about it. That's fine too. Maybe you want to just write a comment and say in a paragraph, like say was my project, and here's a hyperlink, and here's more about my project, and step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hit all the things that Mrs. Storm said I needed to cover, and here's a link to my finished project. Or here's some pictures of my finished project. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here's some pictures of my garden. Done. However you're presenting your project, that's, but make sure you hit those 5 things. I'm going to probably edit this, but they're meaningful. Once you're done with that, then you need to have 5 meaningful comments. 5 meaningful comments on 5 different projects than your own. A meaningful comment includes, and now it's not about the project itself, but about the presentation of the project. So you're not saying, oh, I think the dress that you made is stupid. We're not saying anything like that. What we're saying is like, oh, hey, with Amy, I would have said, I love the play on words that you did and that you included these audios. However, I wish that you had a slide saying that why you were motivated to do this. What inspired this idea? What was the origins of this project? Or maybe something saying like, oh, well, I wish you had told us more about the book that you were reading with it and how that went along with it, so on and so forth. So you need to have one thing that they did well and one thing they need to improve on. So that's the definition of a meaningful comment. So a meaningful comment says, hey, I really enjoyed this about your presentation. This is what you did really well in your presentation. And this is what you can improve on in your presentation. So you need to have 5 meaningful comments on your peers, and then you're done with your project presentation assignment. And if you have any questions about that, please email me. I'm going to make another video for the reflection paper next, okay? Thanks, guys.